Good morning, children. I am Anmol Messi, PGT Physics, Mount Litera Z School, Jhansi. Children, in our previous videos, we have discussed about what exactly a capacitor is and how the capacitance of a capacitor is calculated. We derived an expression for that, and I explained you how a capacitor works and how it helps in an electronic device. Today what we are going to do is we are going to discuss two types of capacitors. One is spherical capacitor and the other one is parallel plate capacitor. But before we discuss spherical capacitor and parallel plate capacitor, we will first discuss the SI unit of capacitance. So as you can see, I have mentioned that the SI unit of capacitance is farad. But 1 farad is a very large unit which is generally not used. Practically, some other units are used. So the practical units for capacitance are: number one is microfarad, where 1 microfarad is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 farad. Then comes picofarad, where 1 picofarad is equal to 10 to the power minus 12 farad. And one more unit is nanofarad. So 1 nanofarad is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 farad. There are few more other practical units, but then generally only these three are used, which would help you in your numericals. Now let us start with our first type of capacitor, which is spherical capacitor. Spherical capacitor is just a spherical ball or a spherical metallic sphere in which we are going to store charges. So first of all, the expression for capacitance is Q by V. So what we are going to do is we are going to put the value of V for V in this expression. So V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R. This is the expression for potential. If we'll put this expression in V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon Q by R, if we'll put this value in the expression, we'll get C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught R. Now 4 pi epsilon naught is obviously a constant, so therefore capacitance is directly proportional to R, that is radius of the capacitor. And this is very true because if the size of the capacitor or the radius of the capacitor is large, then we will be able to store more charge in the capacitor. Now let us discuss another capacitor which is known as parallel plate capacitor. So from the name itself, it suggests that a parallel plate capacitor is a capacitor in which a neutral plate is placed in parallel to a charged plate, and further that plate can be earthed so that we can store more charge in the capacitor. A parallel plate capacitor is generally designed so that we can store more charge in the capacitor and more energy in the capacitor. Okay, now the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor is C is equal to epsilon naught A by D, where epsilon naught is permittivity of free space, A is area of the plate, and D is distance between the plates. So if we consider this expression, later on I'll even explain how to derive this expression, but first of all let us discuss about this expression in detail. So from the expression, it is very clear that the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor is directly proportional to the area of the plate. Okay, and it is inversely proportional to the distance between the plates. So if in case we want to increase the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor, then what we can do is we can increase the area of the plate. In that way we will be able to store more charges in it and more energy in it. Similarly, one more method we have got, that if the distance between the plates is reduced, then the capacitance of the capacitor would increase. That is, we will be able to store more charges and more energy in the capacitor. And one more thing which we can do is, if we insert a dielectric between the plates of the capacitor, then the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor becomes C is equal to epsilon naught A by D, and in front of that we'll write a K, which is dielectric constant. So the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor increases K times if a dielectric of dielectric constant K is inserted between the plates. For example, if we have a parallel plate capacitor which has got a capacitance of 100 microfarad, and if we put a dielectric in between the plates of the capacitor, which has a dielectric constant of 2, then your capacitance would become double, that is twice of 100. Similarly, if a dielectric constant 10 is placed between the plates, then your capacitance would become 10 times, because obviously C is equal to K epsilon naught A by D, that is the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor becomes K times if a dielectric constant is placed between the plates of the capacitor. Okay. Now let us derive the expression C is equal to epsilon naught A by D, which is the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. So in general, or we can say the general formula of capacitance of a capacitor is C is equal to Q by V. So for a parallel plate capacitor, we'll find the value of Q and V, and we'll put in this expression, so we'll get a proper expression, that is C is equal to epsilon naught A by D for a parallel plate capacitor. So let us first derive the value of V to put in this expression. First of all, we'll use an expression which is E is equal to dV by dr, minus E is equal to dV by dr. But here we are going to ignore minus sign, as potential is a scalar quantity and minus would represent the direction. Hence E is equal to dV by dr. But instead of taking dV or dr, we are taking V by r, and r means distance. Here the distance between the plates is d, so instead of r we can write small d. So our expression becomes E is equal to V by d, and if we'll keep V as subject, then V is equal to E into d. Now as far as electric field is concerned, that is E is concerned, for a plate, single plate, in Gauss theorem we have derived the expression of electric field, which is sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. But here there are two plates, hence we'll put a 2 in front of it, that is our expression for electric field would be 2 epsilon naught, 2 sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. So both the 2's would get cancelled, and the expression for electric field would become sigma upon epsilon naught. Finally, the expression for V would be sigma d upon epsilon naught. Now let us calculate the value for Q. Now Q is equal to sigma A. This expression we have derived from first chapter. From first chapter onwards, we are for a plate or for area wise surfaces, the charge is always sigma A. Now since we have got the value of V as well as Q, so we'll use our expression C is equal to Q by V. We'll put the values of Q and V, and finally we'll get the expression C is equal to epsilon naught A by D.